So what does entrepreneurship give a woman? It gives her.
Sometimes we are worried about what will
Tech
people
and
think.
then rose to leadership and believe that impact should still fear about public speaking.
It directly affects a sleep hormone called melatonin.
Unlocking the hidden potential and
for your
life for sitting for so long.
In a situation where staying away from home, even your menstrual cycle will improve. The better your mind also will calm.
But before that, I'll need to acknowledge the messages as well. Kushi says, hello, happy Women's Day to all the lovely ladies here. Glad to have this session. Thanks to the speakers also. Thank you, organizers, for this event. Prithvi, happy Women's Day, girls. Okay, thank you so much, Kushi, for your warm words. And yes, I'm also happy to see you. We remain till the end. We'll be having breaks in between the session because I know sometimes the session would sounds boring if it's too long, but to make it interactive, we have breaks in between the session, in between the each session. So you have time for other activities too. So yes, let's proceed. First of all, happy Women's Day. And if you're not a part of our community, just scan this QR code. Really quick, you can scan this QR code and then you can also follow us on different social media platforms. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram. And if you're not a part of our community, if you're a girl and wanted to join our WhatsApp group, then there is an Google form to join our community. You can just scan this QR code and join our community too. So I'm giving you 2 minutes to scan and join it, then I'll proceed. You can also send in the chat done if you like, if you're not a part of our community or followed us on any kind of social media platform. Then I'll proceed. Okay. Okay, I guess that's enough. You can also take a screenshot of this QR code and later on after this session can scan it. Okay, or at the end of this event, I'll be sharing this PPT. So no need to worry in the WhatsApp group itself. Next. So Girls in Tech Community in collaboration with CMX Mohali chapter presents Empower Her, an exciting event. This event, which you are joining right now, just for you. Okay, so this is the agenda of today's event. This is a welcome keynote, and from 6:20 we'll be having a session on entrepreneurship and strategic thinking. If any of you are interested or want to explore how the startup world and how entrepreneurship works, if you want to experiment it or want to start your own startup, so this is the session for you. Or if you are not interested in particularly venturing into this field but still want to know a little bit of like how the things work, so this session is for you. Then we'll be having a water break and Twitter time. Yes, if you have not downloaded Twitter, so I request you to please download your Twitter and make an account, because we'll be having these activities. And in the end of this session, maybe tomorrow, we'll analyze all the tweets, and on different categories we'll be distributing prizes, the digital prizes obviously. So yes, if you're not having Twitter account, kindly make it. Then we'll be having next session on how to deal with FOMO, burnout, and imposter syndrome. If you are the person like who feels drained out, completely drained out, and feel like people are doing a lot of things, your classmates are doing a lot of things, and you're not doing enough, so this session is for you. Then we'll be having water break. Then there is an exciting thing like the breakout rooms where you can network with your fellow mates. Okay. Yes, this is an exciting thing, breakout room. This we'll be doing only if we have time. I have included this in agenda. If we are having time, then we'll definitely do this. Next, how leadership and public speaking build your confidence. If you want to do public speaking, or like if you are not that much confident in speaking in front of people or show leadership, so this session is of you, because I believe that every girl should be at the leadership position, should lead a team at any of the event that happens at your college, or in the future too. If you join the corporate world, then if you want to lead a team, so there are a lot of things. This session is very beneficial to you in that way. Next, we'll be having a water break, and there is an activity, an exciting activity that you can take part in it. Then there will be a discussion on mental health, then water break. Now the mental health session would be really insightful and valuable for you. So I request you to join that session and to remain here till that session. And then we'll be having word break. Then we'll be having a session on how you can unlock your potential and live your life to the fullest. It'll be like a Q&A session between the speaker and our co-host Bhagwati. So you get a lot of insights from that panel now. But before proceeding further, if anyone have any queries, they can ask in the chat section. I'm seeing or taking the queries. Yeah. Okay. We have our speaker, our amazing speaker here. Uh, Hello, Nidhi ma'am. Can you please, Nidhi ma'am, click on the raise your hand button that appears below? Yes, thank you so much. So now you are on the stage and now you can open your camera and mic. We'll be starting the session in a few more minutes. Till then, I introduces the opening remarks. Okay, ma'am? Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Now you can lower down your hand. You're on the stage. Okay, amazing. So yes, if anyone doesn't have any kind of questions, so yes, we'll proceed further. So let's meet our speakers. First of all, we have our amazing speaker, Nidhi Banthia Mehta, with us. And as you can see, a lot of achievements she have. Uh, she is a recognized as Niti Aayog's top 100 women transforming India TEDx speaker. She has spoke on the topic building a career fueled by passion. She has successfully exited 3 startups within 5 years and had conducted over 250 plus workshops and 100 plus speaker. Like she's been a speaker at 100 plus events. So there are a lot of opportunities that she's having, and today she'll be speaking on exciting topic that is on entrepreneurship. Next, we'll be having our speaker Shilpi Mitra. So she's currently working in Microsoft at as a platform engineering leader. She has 18 plus years of experience, expert in Java based microservices, and have worked with a leading organizations too. Says you get a lot of value from her session. Next, we'll be having Ramesh Rajni ma'am. She has a lot of experience and yes, she's active community builder, cloud certified, mentor for NASCOM Cloud and Google Women developers. Also, she's a Women Techmaker ambassadors. She's a keynote speaker and also an award-winning author of Friction-Free Parenting. Next, we'll be having our speaker, Miss Madhu Satvik. She's the founder of Satwa Yoga and Diet Center, which promotes holistic wellness. She is a certified dietitian, lifestyle consultant, and a coach, and has experience in yoga training, in how you can integrate yoga and nutrition for your overall well-being. So she'll be answering all your questions related to mental health. Next, we'll be having our speaker, Dr. Naga Swati. She is currently working in SAP and has a lot of experience, nearly 2 decades of experience. She is an award-winning author and best-selling author of The 4 Makeovers. And she has also recognized for contribution to mental health initiatives and receiving multiple awards. Yeah, as you can see, we have a lot of experienced speakers with us today. So without any further ado, let's begin our first session of the day, that is on entrepreneurship and strategic thinking for success, taken by Miss Nidhi Banthia Mehta. And as I've already told you, the enormous amount of experiences and achievements she have. So I request Nidhi ma'am to come on the stage and introduce herself, and let's dive into the session.
Super. Thank you so much, Manik, for your introduction and for getting this event organized so that it can benefit all the young girls as well as everyone who's here. Hi, everyone. My name is Nidhi Mehta, and I've been an entrepreneur for 23 years. One of my favorite things to do is talk to girls and talk to young women and women of all ages to inspire them to take that leap of faith and start their own entrepreneurial journeys. And why so? I will tell you my journey and then why it's so important for us to look at entrepreneurship as a career option. Now, I did my MBA, and I absolutely had no clue what I wanted to do with my life. So, the first job that came along, luckily it was a great job with a consulting firm, management consulting. I took that up. And, I loved what I did. I learned a lot on my job. I learned how to research really well, to do analytics, to understand how businesses are valued, how we look for customers, what do customers want, value proposition, everything that you need to do to understand and to build a business strategy. I learned there in 1.5 years. And I moved to Silicon Valley in 2001. In 2002, I just chanced upon accidentally an opportunity, which I thought was wonderful. It matched with the passion that I had for dancing. And I thought that I could create something really large with this passion, married into a very strong business proposition, and create a global conglomerate out of it. So, with that vision in mind, I started the first Bollywood dance fitness studio in Silicon Valley. So far, people who had been teaching dance, Bollywood dancing was out of garage, smaller setups. It wasn't really mainstream, and I took it mainstream. When you take a product that you've done your homework, is you know that people are always in search for doing something that makes them happy while it keeps them fit, and it's something new that is introduced to them that allows them to truly open themselves and be a part of this music that they hear all the time, right? I think that is what I brought together for them. It was dance fitness inspired by Bollywood. So what did it take care of? It took care of my passion, which was dance, and I was good at. It took care of the fitness element that most people would want to come and do because they want to exercise. They're spending 1 hour of their time, they're spending money to attend that class. And it created a niche by telling them the music in this studio or in these classes, the steps in these classes inspired by Bollywood movies. So anybody who had seen Bollywood movies or who had friends who were remotely Indian and were exposed to Bollywood were curious and wanted to come to the class. In 3 years, I had expanded from a 10 student batch to 550 students, spanning across 8 cities. I was doing every corporate wellness class that you can think of with Google, Yahoo, Cisco, Apple, you name it, and we were there. So, what I'm trying to tell you is something as basic as what my parents would that time say, who makes a career out of dance? Like, you're such an intelligent girl. Why don't you do something which is more corporate? Something as big what somebody would think is a simple passion, what can be done with it. If you think of it in a larger picture, if you look at it on a global map, there is so much you can do with it because it's a very unique niche skill which only you have and you can bring on the table, right? When we talk about coding, it's a process. It's like an engineered process. So anybody who knows coding can probably replicate or do something that you already do. But dancing, music, any handcrafted skill or creative skill is something where 10 people may be doing the same thing, but each one brings their own unique flavor onto the table. And that's what makes you as a founder and makes you as an entrepreneurship venture very unique. So I'm not saying I'm better than everyone, and I'm not saying I'm worse than anyone. I'm just in my own way very unique. And I know this much that I put so much love and passion into what I do that if somebody enters my class, I know that they will not go to any other class because I am that good in terms of the value I give to my clients, to my students, that they will land up signing up. So if you have a great idea, if you have a passion for something, and you can create a strong business strategy around it as to how you're going to take it to the market, how are you going to expand it, how are you going to take it globally outside your city, what is going to be your revenue channels, how are you going to make money, what do you envision doing it 10 years down the line. I've been running these classes for the last 13 years across multiple countries, going to different countries to run workshops for companies. So 23 years is a long time to sustain a business in today's world, right? So if you can create a strategy around how you're going to do it, everything is going to fall into place. So that is why I tell you, for a girl, for a woman, and now from my experience, I'll tell you why I'm so gung-ho about entrepreneurship for women. One, it has given me, I became an entrepreneur at the age of 27. It gave me, and after 27, and now I'm going to turn 50. So I'm telling you, in these 23 years, what all has happened. I've moved 2 continents, 3 countries, had 2 children. Every time I move to a new country, I had to start from scratch, right? Because I sold the business before or I was starting something new. Entrepreneurship is that one tool that allowed me to continue working and pursue my professional pursuits throughout my 23 years without taking a single day of break. Because even when I went to a new country, I knew exactly how to start building my businesses, how to get a license, what to do. And because I was so passionate, and I am so passionate about what I do, nothing stops me from going and starting, because that's a need that I have. I want to do it. I don't wake up on Mondays thinking, oh my God, another day of week. I wake up on Mondays thinking, oh my God, all my classes have started, because Saturday, Sundays are a break. So I look forward to work. Through my two pregnancies, I danced in my 8th month. So, which means that it gave me the flexibility to continue working. But the only different thing I did was I ensured that my instructors were there to assist me. So, when I couldn't jump and kick with such big belly, they were doing that, but I could still be in my workplace and spend my time productively feeling happy, right? And not just sitting at home. The moment I had delivered, I went back to work within 6 weeks or 4 weeks, I think, the first time. So what it did was it allowed me to continue working. I scaled down when my children were small. I hired more instructors. I became more of the business management and and administration front, expanding the classes through people I was hiring, through instructors. And the moment I felt my kids were grown up enough that they didn't need so much of my time because they were going to school, I went back into it full fledged. So, what does entrepreneurship give a woman? It gives us flexibility. Flexibility to scale up, to scale down, to contribute as much time as you want, when you want. So, you could start your day at 5 a.m. in the morning, stop at 8 a.m. when you think your family needs you. Again, restart at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, work till 12 o'clock, depending. So everything is in your hands. And that's the beauty of this entrepreneurship, that it gives you the time flexibility. Because trust me, this is for all the women out there, all the girls. As we go through in life, there's so many crossroads that you're going to cross. You're going to probably get married if you choose to. You might have aging parents who need you. You might decide one day to embrace motherhood, so your children need you, whether they need or not. It is our self nurturing self that we want to spend time with them. We want to be there for them, right? All there are so many responsibilities or so many roles you have to juggle with. And we want to do all of that with seamless perfection, because each role means so much to us. We love all of that. We love our parents, we love our families, all of it. At the same time, there is a need, and it must be fulfilled, of our own identity. You have studied so much for a reason. You have certain unique talents and unique strengths for a reason. You have to bring that out so that that part of you feels fulfilled. It's not about the money, it's about fulfillment first. And when you can do that because you have an entrepreneurial venture, which you can do with flexibility, you will feel whole and complete. And when you feel whole and complete, you make the world around you a happier place. Because then you're not frustrated, you're not cribbing. Every time that you have an argument with somebody, you don't turn around and tell them that because of you, I had to give up my career. You don't have to give up your career. You can continue to build on your career as you want. And today I'm telling you, both my kids are in college, almost the second one. And I am now scaling myself up to do more work, because now I feel I have 12 hours in a day that I can contribute to it. So again, it's upon you. Financial independence for women is one of the most important things that you'll realize in your life as you move ahead, that you want to have. It's not about what we were born as, it's not about what we may move into, right? And how much wealth we get based on the ecosystem we have. It's about what we have created through our contribution and hard work. That's what's going to give you ultimate happiness. That's what's going to give you ultimate confidence. And that's what's going to give you the financial freedom that ultimately you will really enjoy and feel that, yes, I'm living a life that I wanted to create. And I think one of the things why I like to give this talk is because I'm telling you, I can tell you all because y'all are like those 23 years younger to me. And I wish I knew it then, right? But luckily I didn't know it and I still could carve it, that your financial freedom allows you to be in a position where you are living such an empowered life. You can choose to do what you want. You can travel the way you want. You can nurture people the way you want. You can help people in your community through philanthropy. You can run NGOs. You can do whatever you want because you have that kitty that you have created for yourself with your own hard work. And then using that money to smartly invest so you can grow your money, because it's not just about earning money, it's what you do with it, how you make your money work for you, how you grow it to create wealth that can ultimately empower you. So, again, coming back to it, entrepreneurship fuels all of that. And what are the strategies for success? One, never ever doubt yourself. If you have an idea, I'm not saying close your eyes and just dive into it. Do your homework. Build a business strategy deck to think, is this idea even viable? Because there's no point spending 5 years, 6 years nurturing an idea when the market is not ready for it or you don't know how to execute it. Typically, from the time you have an idea, this is how I work. I wake up every day with a new idea and I have a book on ideas and I keep writing them down and I see exactly how I'm going to make money out of it. So you put that idea over there and then you start to think, how many people are already doing this? Do a quick Google search. You'll be able to see the competition. How many people sell jewelry, do this, do that, right? Two, how am I going to make money? How am I going to differentiate myself from all other competition that's out there in the market? And then once you've realized what your USP is going to be, then you're going to be that how am I going to use my customer base and ensure that I create a loyal customer base so I have a continued stream of revenue for myself, for my venture. And that's how you can see. And if you don't see the numbers looking good, you can always work on another idea. See, I'll tell you something about human mind. Our mind is very sharp. And there are enough opportunities if you look around yourself every single day. Enough opportunity to make something better, to create a better product, to create a more sustainable product, to bring convenience into customers' lives. What are you passionate about that you want to take up and make sure that you can do this for 30 years without feeling boredom? And if you find that idea that you say that I think I can do this for year on year, day on day, hours and hours, and lose complete track of time when I'm doing it because I love it so much, trust me, you got a winning idea and you will be successful in it. So if you see me now, after 23 years, if you see me in my dance class, I still dance the way I used to dance on day one. I still teach with the same energy, with the same enthusiasm, with the same excitement. If I'm not feeling well, I'll pop a croissant, but I don't want to miss my class. I always say this, no matter how many businesses I run, ultimately, I don't want to leave entrepreneurship because this is the only way I'll be able to teach my classes. That's something I don't want to give up. And when you see me there, you see me as a different human being where there's literally joy and you can see energy permeating from every cell of my body. So, find something that you're really passionate about and take time. It's not a race. It's not that my friend has got an idea and I don't, so I'm a failure. No, we all will find our idea and it'll come to us at the right time. I went to a corporate, right? So it wasn't that I started my entrepreneurial journey on day one. I had no idea. I never in my life thought that I'm ever going to be an entrepreneur, ever. I was so non ambitious. And it came to me when the opportunity was right. So you have to be patient and you have to believe and trust that when the time is right, you will find your tribe, you will find your people, you will find that idea. Or if that idea is there, maybe 2 years later, that idea is going to germinate and become something big, and everything will come together to make it happen for you. Okay. So I can take a couple of questions if y'all want, but if you want me to talk a little bit more on the business strategy, or maybe I can mix both. So let me take a few questions and then I can talk a little bit more about the various product-based businesses, service-based businesses, and how do you build a strategy around it. So EPSA, I don't know what that whose name it is, but okay, ma'am, but there are people who try to pressure you down because you are a female. How to deal with them? So, firstly, I want to tell you, I think it's a privilege we are females because I don't mean to diss men. I think they're great and they work very hard. But I think women are born with this innate, every single woman. Okay, every single woman. It's not just me or just you, every single one. Every single woman is born with this innate quality and talent to be able to manage multiple things with absolute perfection and focus on each one of them with as much diligence as anybody can and do everything perfectly. We are just born that way. We are wired that way. And we do that all our life, right? So I don't think that you should allow anybody to pressure you down, or even if somebody's pressuring you down, don't allow it to get to you. See, the only reason why people want to pressure you down is because they feel you have something that they don't. Because they feel that you have that drive that's going to take you up the ladder and that's somehow going to make them feel that they didn't do enough. So learn to block that noise. Ultimately, the only person you have to hear is yourself, your inner voice, and put that into paper and do a very strong calculation as to will this work or not. And if you see on paper that the numbers look good and it's going to work, then go ahead with it. Okay. I think so. That's for your question. Ishita, ma'am can give an example of how a business idea stands out from the rest of the competition. Okay, so let me just say this. Okay, let's take the example of my second company. It was a product-based company. I was into baby and kids luxury segment. Okay, product segment. Now it's not that there weren't other brands that existed that time. What stood me apart or my idea apart was the value proposition I created. So I knew there are enough brands who deal with kids' clothes, but there was a gap in that segment where nobody was dealing only with kids' accessories purely. Okay. So I came up with this idea that I'm not going to touch clothing because I don't have that kind of money to invest. I wanted to, and I want to share this all with you because now that it's come into my mind, a lot of times we tell ourselves, "Mere paas paise nahi hai. How will I start a business? You know, it's not for me." We are always trying to tell ourselves not to do something because we are scared of what we are capable of truly. So my first business, I started with $100 investment, which is 8,000 rupees in today's conversion, or 8,600 rupees. My second, and I never took investment, and after 23 years, it's still profitable, it still runs. My second business, which was Nidhi B, I started with a 50,000 rupees investment, which was from my own savings. And I grew it into a multi-crore company. Again, no external investment taken. So it's really about how you create profitability and plow that money back into your business to create higher capital, higher investment, and that becomes your fuel for the engine, right? So how do you create? So in NeedyB, the way we created our distinction was by ensuring that we were not seen as a competition by the clothes brand, but very distinctly seen as a purely kids accessories brand. Now, if I don't think any of your moms, like I'm a mom, so I can tell you, and I have a girl, that moms are obsessed when they have girls to make them everything matching. Matching headband, matching earrings, matching bangle, everything that we can find matching should be there, right? And I realized this after doing my research and after being a mom myself, that that's something probably every mom is looking for. But there's no brand that's giving them that. So I created head to toe dressing for kids. So, which meant from hairband to necklace to ring to bracelet to whatever socks, shoes, whatever you need for your daughter or your son. If you need belts, you need suspenders, we have it all to accessorize their wardrobe. Now, the good thing about this is Accessories require much lower investment than clothes. Two, accessories are not bound by sizes mostly, they're standard sizes. Three, mostly with accessories, you will not have a dead stock. So I looked at all of this proposition and I said, I have a solid proposition. If I dive into it, my chances of being successful are reasonably high. And that's how I stood out from the competition and created my marketing strategy by pushing my brand as a uniquely kids and babies accessories brand. And I stood out from the competition and got noticed. And that's how things started to roll. Now, Siddhi says, if one wants to start with startup as a fresher, what kind of steps should you needs to be followed? Simple, I've already said this. Firstly, put down all those 6, 7 ideas that you have. Okay. Then see for each one of them, who are the competitors in the market? Who are you really? How much competition is there? Okay. What does that competition provide? What is it unique that you can do which is different from all those 7 competitors that you've listed? If you have at least 3 unique things in your product, then you know that's an idea you can take and you can start to build on it. Okay. Again, remember, I always say this, even if there are 1,000 players in the market, there's room for one more if you can distinguish yourself through your value proposition. But if there are only 2 players and you can't distinguish yourself, you're just going to be a copycat brand, you cannot be successful. Because ultimately, customers are going to ask, what is it that you're giving me that the other person is not? And if you can't express that in your marketing communication or in your mission and vision, then you can't communicate it to your customers at all. Right? And they won't buy your product. So, okay, everyone tries to compare themselves with others. So, how do you tackle such situations like you're good at what you are rather than thinking about what others have achieved? Can you give some insights on these things? It's easier said than done, but it literally comes down to a very simple way of saying, don't compete. I mean, I know that somebody is probably getting 80% and you're like struggling at 75, and you look at them and you say, she doesn't even work that hard. And how does she get 80? It's okay because, in the long run, I'm telling you, again, I keep saying it, I'm giving you all gyan because I've lived through that life, right? I was a very academically ambitious kid. Like for me, getting a A plus or getting in my 90s was so important. But now when I look back, nobody cares. Nobody looks at that. So you are sweating yourself and driving yourself insane thinking I got 2% less than what I thought I should. It's okay. In the big picture, it doesn't matter. What matters is the knowledge you're imbibing, what you're learning really. Okay. Not just the textbook marks or percentage, but the knowledge. What matters is your networking, what kind of friends you're making, what kind of opportunities you're taking in your college, which is beyond your academic curriculum, like basically joining startup communities, going into that incubation center. Sometimes you don't have an idea, you just sit with people who have great ideas, and one day one will emerge in your head. So you're just imbibing the energy and waiting for your time to come up with that idea. So these are some of the ways you can really help yourself and stop yourself from being very competitive with others. And two, I just say stop looking at Instagram and the comparisons will go, right? So yeah. And what advice would I give to girls who take failure a bit hard and how they can remove the self-doubt? So the self-doubt, honestly, I can't really talk about it because I still at times self-doubt myself, right? Every time I'm trying to do something new, I'm like, can I do it? Am I capable? Whatever it is, any skill set. So the other day, so every quarter I pick up a new skill to learn because I love to learn. I love to continue learning because I feel that keeps me fresh. And if I stop learning or stop reading, I start to feel like, oh my God, I'm stagnating. So I thought I went to a crochet workshop. I've never done crochet. And I said, how hard can it be? I think anybody can do crochet. I was frustrated like hell. In 2 hours, I could barely even do like one knit of a line. And what I realized was that immediately that self doubt started to kick in. Am I even capable? Should I be taking this up? I'm not good enough. Let me leave it. And then my intellect came into play, and I said, you know what? Stop looking for instant gratification. This is like any business. You got to give it your due practice to see results. It can't give you results in 2 hours. And I brought that crochet kit home, and every single day I spent 20 minutes crocheting. And today I can say, I mean, it's been 2 weeks. I'm not saying I'm a master of crochet, but at least I'm moving towards making a flower, right? So again, practice makes it perfect. Practice will make your self doubt go away. Practice will allow you to feel more confident about a subject that you're delivering. Because I have been an entrepreneur for so long, because I have gone through my own journey, my hardships in India, in US, whatever, and come this far, I'm able to speak to you without looking at a script or making a script because it's there inside me. And that removes self doubt. I'm not nervous right now. I'm excited to share that journey, right? So, again, the more you do, the more sure you are of what you're talking about. And don't ever look at something not working out for you as a failure. I always say this: words have a lot of power. I tell my children the same thing. Please remove these words like failure, I'm not good enough out of the dictionary. Look for positive words to say the same thing. Okay, even though it's an emotion which is not probably suiting you well, you can always say that work out for me, or it didn't give me the outcome that I was desiring. But it's not a failure. Failure is when you stop trying. When an outcome is not as per your expectation, it still means you've learned a lot along the way. And that learning a lot along the way becomes your foundation for the next thing you are going to do. And you're going to do it with a little bit of edge above everyone else because now you have that foundation to leap. Okay, so everything when it doesn't work out for you the way you envisioned, it is you have to trust it's teaching you something. And life does, it's not like a short runway, it's a very, very long runway. And it keeps getting extended. So you're not running against time. You're not running a race where you have to finish. You're just finding that right runway so that you can have that right speed when you run, so you can ace that marathon and enjoy that entire experience and complete it. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how fast and at what time you did it. And there are times that you question or people will question your capability. I say this: every skill can be acquired. Every skill that requires you to excel in your field can be learned, can be acquired. Some take more time than the others, but there is nothing that you can't learn. I didn't know how to cook till I was 30. I mean, I just didn't know how to even make rice. I mean, till date, honestly, but I can make everything else. But so what I'm saying is, but I learned at 30 how to cook. And today I cook all the cuisines of the world. I love cooking. I find it therapeutic. But I learned it so late. So there, it's never a time that you feel, oh my God, my 20s have gone. So now I'm never going to learn how to cook. It's your will, your desire, and then finding the right places from where you're going to start acquiring and imbibing that knowledge to truly learn and grow. So, are there any other questions? Because there's so many questions. I'm just trying to answer everything. Um, okay. There is one, Gitika. There are times when we don't get the desired results or whatever we want to pursue. Our parents are first to question our capabilities. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you another story. When I decided to take up dance, right, as a profession, my parents were so upset, my mom mostly, because I was such a good, excellent academic kid. I had always aced. I had gone to the best colleges in India. I went to LSR, I went to SP Gen. I had like a really good trajectory of, educational institutions. And they felt that with these kind of brains, like my mom, her dialogue was, okay, you love to dance, go to a club with your friends, go dancing. You can dance, at parties with your friends. Why do you have to take up dancing as a career? Why would you leave such a good job, which gives you so much money, which gives you so much respect, learning, everything? And I was very clear I wanted to give it a shot. Maybe at that time, more so because I was so young. And there's this energy, right? Ki dekhenge yaar, jo hoga so hoga. What's there to lose? I have such good education ki 2 saal mein, if it doesn't work out in 1 year, I can always find another job. That drove me. But what I realized was, and even after 6 months, She kept telling me that, do you want to go to Stanford and do another MBA? And I would tell her, ki, why would I do another MBA? I said, I don't want to take up a job. Even with this MBA, I can get a job. That's not what I want to do. And I realized after 6 months, they started to see how I had started opening studios one after the other, and how it was growing, and how every corporate was getting me. And I mean, just to give you all figures, when corporates hired me to conduct team building workshops for them, and this I'm talking about 2003 4, I used to charge $500 an hour. Okay, $500 an hour for my workshop, which I personally rendered. So when we do something which like I told you, which is uniquely your skill set, which cannot be replicated, which can be done by other people, but cannot be replicated identical, right? You are not just bringing a service or a skill over there, you're also bringing your energy, you're bringing your way of delivery, you're bringing a community interaction, and your ability to create good customer relations that ultimately they want to just keep coming back to you. And if you can ace that, no matter how many competitors there may be over there, they will always come back to you because they enjoyed the experience with you. So focus on how you can bring value to your customers through your product or your service. And that essentially will become the winning hand with you. Because if you can delight your customers through your product, through the results, through the packaging, through the experience of, receiving it like this or getting a free gift out of it, you will have your customers coming back to you. So these are some of the things that you have to really remember. And again, remember that when our parents tell us don't do this, when I look at my mom, she came from a space of protection. She came from a space, because when you love somebody so much, now I'm a mother, so I can say this. When you love somebody so much, you somehow feel that you don't want them to make a mistake or regret something that they've done. Maybe they're not seeing it from your point of view. They see a lot more talent in you and they feel that you can fulfill it in a certain way, right? So I don't think we should resist or fight with our parents when they're showing their concern, but look at it as that, okay, they're showing this concern. Have I overlooked it? Because every time somebody tells you don't do it because it's something, you should diss it. You should actually look into it, go into it calculatively, see whether it makes sense or not. If it doesn't make sense, allow it to pass. But if it makes sense, go deeper into it. कि यार यार ये तो मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था that I should look at this, and now that she's told me, yeah, I'm thinking, how will the money come? There are 20 other people doing it, this, that, and the other, right? And empower yourself with good people around you. Empower yourself with an energy that of learning, of continuous learning, of not being scared to be out of your comfort zone, of not being in a space where you feel ki, oh God, ye to maine kabhi kiya nahi, ab kaise karungi. That's the time when you are pushing yourself out of that comfort zone, is when you're actually deciding and taking your life in your hands and saying, I'm ready to take the plunge and do things that I have never done before. And that will make you stand above the rest and be noticed. So become visible, become noticeable, and have your heart in whatever you do. And when you have your heart in whatever you do, like I say, opportunities will come at the right time. Be patient. People will come into your life at the right time to enable that success for you. Be grateful to them, because it takes an ecosystem to empower you. Your whole family, your clan, your friends, your known tools, everything, right? 3, never be afraid to ask for help. What's the worst that will happen? Somebody will say no. But it's okay. At least you asked. Always think big. Don't ever think small. कि मैं अपने दायरे में इतना सा करूँगी. No. Think that if I had this idea, how do I see myself 10 years from now globally? and then start to work backwards. That's how you make your dreams really big and make them turn into reality. And then work really hard. Because trust me, I say this to everyone, Instagram is not going to get your job. It's not going to get you your, investors, customers. You can spend 5 hours just looking at reels and laughing and those puppies throwing balls at each other, and all of that is going to get you nowhere. You have to learn to prioritize. You have to put in the hard work. You have to learn to get over that FOMO, that all my friends are going out, but I'm here sitting and working on my laptop on my business idea, because that's what's going to make you successful while they are watching movies. So learn to prioritize, learn to make room for every aspect in your life to create that perfect study, work, personal time, family time balance to make yourself fulfilled. Because even if one area gets neglected, your well being is going to get short. You're not going to feel happy. So to ensure that you have a good well-being, you want to make sure that you're present in all areas of your life and doing the best that you can. And there will always be people, Manisha, who will criticize or who will say something to you which you don't like. But again, do you believe that about yourself? If you don't, let them talk. Have the confidence in yourself to be able to know that this is, no matter what anybody says, that's not who I am. They are saying it because maybe they see some side of us which they don't like, or they see us working hard which they don't like because they are not being able to do it. And you have to move such people out of your domain so that you're just surrounded by positive, energizing people. And okay. Okay, so we often experience some major failures which make us lose all the hope and motivation we have. See, I'll tell you something very honestly. Again, I don't believe in the word failure. I always say the outcome is not as you expected, but that doesn't mean we go back to ground zero. You still have something, right? I just feel I'm one of those people who just loves to keep trying and keep doing, and that is why I keep learning new things. And I always feel that it's good to keep innovating yourself, to keep upskilling yourself. And just because you decided to do one thing in life now doesn't mean you have to do it for the rest of your life. Maybe after 10 years, you say, okay, I've done enough of it. I enjoy dancing. I want to do something different now because I have another skill set, another idea I want to pursue. It's okay, shift. That's what life is all about. That how are you fulfilling yourself and doing everything that you always wanted to do? I'm not just teaching dance. I'm running my own company. I'm running my own consulting firm. I'm investing in companies. I am managing my own stock investments. I'm doing so many things because all of them fancy me. But I found time for each one of them. And the only way I found time is I don't watch TV. So when people sit down on Netflix and spend hours and hours, I spend my time doing things that I think fulfill me otherwise, and they're more business wise, right? And okay, Toshika, I face difficulty to make friends, and if I do, they end up betraying me. Should I see this as a challenge and move on? So here's the deal. In friendship, it's a lot of giving. Okay? Nobody will betray you if you bring value into their life. But if we come from a mindset where we want to get more, or we have very high expectation from friends and we want more from them, then one small thing they don't do, we find it as betrayal. So my mantra of friendship, and I've had friendship which are like 35 years old from my sixth grade, and they're still my best friends and we hang out together all the time, is give space. You got to create your tribe where you are very close friends, but you allow others to have other friends also, right? You allow them to do their own thing without feeling that you left me out and you didn't do this. Don't put expectations. And the moment you don't put expectations, those people will enjoy being with you. And when they enjoy being with you, the friendships foster. They become deeper because people want to always be with people who are light-hearted, who are easy to be with, and not somebody who's like taunting them. Tumne to phone hi nahi kiya, you don't love me, you went for a movie without me with another friend. No. So when we can drop those expectations, you'll see automatically the friendships will become more fuller, and the betrayal will go away, and people will be more closely connected to you. And yeah, so feeling lonely is fine. Okay. I'll tell you, when I moved to Jaipur 11 years ago, one of my biggest, for 4 years, 3, 4 years, one of my biggest beefs or biggest sources of like feeling a bit empty was that I couldn't find that one person that I felt I vibed with 100%, the energy. And then, how I met that one person who 100% vibed with? I read an article. And I read an article, it's very interesting. I was reading an article about a founder of a jewelry brand, and very similar story that mine, that, from the US moved to India and then started this, that. And then I read based out of Sitapura. I didn't know that person at all. Okay, I just read and I said, oh my God, same story as me. I looked at her picture and somehow I just felt connected to her. I Googled. I found the number of that office in Voila. She was a co-founder of Voila. And I picked up the phone. I called up that office. I sent her a message, actually, an email. And I said, hey, I just read an article about you and da da da. And this is my background. I've also come. I would love to catch up over a coffee. Literally 30 seconds later, I had a call from her. And she was like, oh my God, I have never come across somebody who just sent me this. And she's like, I want to meet you for coffee today. And we've been such close friends since then. So there are times, so it was 3 years of a lot of feeling empty because that one close friend physically wasn't here. All my friends are from Calcutta, Delhi, everywhere that I studied, nobody was here. But you find people and you have to keep looking out for them. And when you find that person, then you nurture that. And when you nurture it, you give a lot more than you're expecting to take from that relationship. And you get great friends. Yeah. So, yeah, based on that, I hope I've answered all of your questions, queries. I hope I've inspired you all to really think about entrepreneurship as a career option for you all. Do read a lot. There are so many blogs out there on entrepreneurship, on new businesses, and not just Indian, but world over. Women led businesses. Read. Because that will give you an idea. अरे इसने ये कर दिया, ये तो मैं भी कर सकती हूँ. And then you start to build your idea. There is always room for you. Remember this. Always room for you. There will always be a room for you to start. You just have to decide when you want to start and what you want to start with. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing all those valuable insights with us. Now, your talk has covered a lot of aspects, a lot of topics that everyone wants to listen. Everybody's confused regarding everything. And even after hearing your talk, a lot of questions that I have in my mind answered, and you just motivated me. Personally, I want to share the thing that you have asked, that don't think when you have expected a certain output, and if that you don't get that output, don't just get disheartened and just move on, because you have got that foundation. So for this session alone, the registrations that we have got is too much, and I have expected too much number, that yes, this number I'll definitely see. But when I see the number, my heart broke, because when we put a lot of effort now, and that is like running in my mind from the last 30 minutes. But when I heard your sentences, now that motivated me a lot more. And now I'm very happy. Yes, at least we have organized this. And
Yeah.
yes,
And see, you've got great speakers who've come, even if two people from here take away some motivation and inspiration and say, okay, I've been thinking about this, I'm going to do it, I'm going to make a new friend. It's job well done. It's time well spent for me. By the way, everyone, I don't usually dress up so jingly for webinars. I'm sorry, but I'm leaving for IFA Awards right after this. And I didn't want to cancel on Manik because I had committed to him and Ishita. So I just decided to dress up and sit so that I can immediately run post the session. But yeah, so great work, Manik. I think building communities is beautiful because at least you're trying and you're bringing people together who are aspiring to do something common, right? That you are promoting. I think it's great that girls are thinking of using technology as a power to enable themselves, whether in a corporate job, whether in entrepreneurship, whether in any aspect of life, NGOs, whatever it is, and keep going at it. Satija, I am active on Instagram. It's Nidhi Banthia Mehta, and my dance class Instagram handle is Bolly Beats Global with a Z. And I think they'll probably share it with y'all. Ishita has it. And I'm there on LinkedIn. And each one of you should be on LinkedIn. And like I said, read, keep learning. Keep learning new things. You don't know what will help you when in life. And one last thing, and when I talk about learning, I did. So when I was doing my MBA, everyone was from BITS Pilani, IIT, and I came from LSR BCom student, right? I thought कि मैं गलती से तुक्के से पहुंच गई हूँ यहाँ, and somebody is going to find out that I'm not so intelligent and catch me. So I used to go through a lot of stress. So to combat my stress levels, I joined Shamak Davar's classes because I used to love dancing and I was in Bombay. So, and guess who my instructor was, by the way, girls? My instructor was Shahid Kapoor. He was 17 years old then. Yeah. So I learned from him 2 years and I joined those classes. Obviously, it was with no, like no thought that I will ever teach dance in my wildest dreams. It was just purely for me to enjoy. But how, if I look back now, those dots connected because I learned how a class is taught formally. Because I learned how they break up steps, how do they speak, what is the instruction style. After 4 years, it came into play in my life when I started the Bollywood Dance Fitness Studios. So no learning ever goes a waste. It comes into your life because someday it's going to be useful for you. When you learn how to cook, someday in life you're going to be like, thank God I learned how to cook. I'm sitting in this foreign land, but I'm not getting jalebis that I love to eat. So मैं खुद ही बना करके खा रही हूँ, right? So every learning is going to help you at some moment in life. Just believe that. So keep learning and keep that energy flowing. Thank you so much.